We arrive in East Jerusalem from Amman, Jordan, crossing the Jordan River at the King Hussein Bridge. At the Israeli military checkpoint, it's called the Allenby Bridge. For some, this is the Holy Land. For others, it's Greater Israel, Judea and Samaria. Internationally, it's called the West Bank, the occupied territories. But for Palestinians who live here, this is Palestine. There are at least 3 names for most places in this land. Here, the Temple Mount, for some, the place of the Western Wall. It's the noble sanctuary for others, the place of the Dome of the Rock and the Al-Aqsa Mosque. This is Jerusalem, the holy place for Jews, Christians, and Muslims. We are looking at the latest, most tangible aspect of the Israeli occupation, the wall. Here too, some call it a security fence. For others, it's an apartheid wall, an annexation wall. Some call it a separation barrier. In the Jerusalem area, the wall is a concrete barrier more than 20 feet high. In the rural north, the agricultural region, the barrier is a razor wire electronic fence with guard towers and patrol roads. Locked gates and denied permits prevent access to farmlands, water wells, and greenhouses. How does this wall compound the existing restrictions of the occupation? We want to witness what the wall means to the lives of ordinary Palestinians. You will meet some of them here.
We travel from Jerusalem to Bethlehem, where we meet Sanaa, a young woman who grew up in Dheisheh refugee camp.
All right, we're driving north in Bethlehem, and we're approaching the wall. It looks like it's the edge where they will continue.
This will be a gate in the wall? Yes.
Or maybe a gate. Yeah, oh, look at this. Definitely taller than the Berlin Wall.
Yes.
If you see the wall, you know, many houses are beside the wall. You know, of course, you know, the wall is 8 meters high. It is, you know, double of Berlin Wall. And it is, I think, length 730, you know, 300 meter in front and 300 meter, you know, in the back. So all the wall was built on the Palestinian land. So security will be 24 hours, cameras around the wall, you know, electric fence. And they are thinking to put some electronic guns. Yani if the camera feel that something move, it will automatically start to shoot. So this is one thing. The other thing in the north, you know, my husband family, they are living in Qalqilia. They are farmers. They have, you know, a tomato farm. Their farm is behind the checkpoints because the wall. So if they wanted to go, if there is any closure, they can't reach the tomato, and this is will determine what kind of season they will have. If they can't reach the farm, so the tomato is no one can irrigate it, no one can reach it. So it depends on the soldier moods. If he let the farmers to go and see their plant, okay. If not, so you will lose your farmers. And you know their daily income are totally depend on the farmer and their farms. So So the wall cuts also all the cities. Yani for me to go to Ramallah, it is impossible. So it's like, cantons. We have Hebron, we have Bethlehem, we have Ramallah, we have, of course, Jerusalem is isolated totally because of the wall, and all the cities also. Now I am going to the state, so we are thinking how we can. I wanted to put my child on my mother-in-law because she can take care of him. My mother is in Jordan and she's sick, so we are during the last week we are thinking how we can reach Kalkilia and take my son to her. Because if I want to go from here to Ramallah, it's a closure, and I have to walk a mountain with the child to take him to Kalkilia. So they just tear the relation between the families, between the cities. So this is the fact, and we have to deal with the fact, and this is the wall. I can't imagine one day they will come and just take it off.
We visit Abu Dis, a village east of Jerusalem, to meet with Salah, whose home is right next to the wall.
We just got off this bus from Damascus Gate to Abu Dis. We just arrived right here, and the wall is right here at this petrol station. Right here, for God's sake. All right, there's Emily, 5 foot something. This, I remember the Berlin Wall. This is easily twice the height of the Berlin Wall, or more. Here's my concern right there. These guys, about here.
This road, it's the main road in the West Bank, and the West Bank. It joined Jerusalem with Jordan. Suddenly we hear that they are putting just blocks. Then we came to see what's going, because it's very serious for us, The first day, they tried to stop us even to walk down. As an example, our daughters, we have 2 daughters, they are studying in Jerusalem. The first day, they stopped us from taking them to the bus, because the bus used to come here, and when they damage the road, the bus can't come here, and used to wait them in the petrol station. After you can call it a battle with the soldiers, and some Israelis from Peace Now, they came here, and suddenly somebody sent the Israeli television. We managed to send our daughters to school. For small children, it's not easy.
Right. It was 30 to now. It was a full checkpoint. Columbia checkpoint was full. And from the DCO also was full, so I waited like half an hour, and on the road to Jerusalem there's another checkpoint, and it was also full.
After this time, the life in Abu Dis and Bethany and the Sawahra, there are 3 small towns here in the east of Jerusalem. After that time, the life completely damaged, because these small towns, they are usually, they depend in Jerusalem on their life. They are just residential areas without any kind of services like hospitals or place to work. or fire department, or banks, or schools also. You know, half of us, you know, has Israeli identify cards, and the other half we have West Bank, which means, you know, now our staying here in our homes are illegal according to the Israeli laws. In this case, you know, it means that our staying here is illegal. We can't go to Abu Dhabi, and maybe anytime they will kick us out. And at the same time, they will not keep any entrance between us and Abu Dhabi through the wall. And with the wall, we will be not managed, you know, to go to our jobs or to go to the hospital if we are sick. So when this wall is finished, you know, and closed, nobody of us, you know, can imagine, you know, how his life will be. We are not just separating from Jerusalem. We are separating from all the cities in the West Bank also. That's the problem. And now, here I think it will be one of these ghettos of the West Bank, Abu Dhabi, Ramallah, and Jenin. Who will be accept with the state with the 4 or 6 ghettos? You know, if you want to move from one to another, you need a permit. What kind of state, you know? This is, you know, one element. But at the same time, you know, when you have no lands to work in, when you have no job, and these ghettos, you know, what kind of state, you know? No, not the people not think very much now about state, because their daily life, you know, now is damaged. Now Abu Dhabi is separating also from the south, Hebron. We can't go there, and they can't come here also. And they are walking through the mountains, helicopters, and the soldiers shooting them like the ducks. It's the same about the north, you know. After you dividing the West Bank for 5 or 6 ghettos, what kind of state you will make from these ghettos, you know? And the leadership are in Ramallah, under a siege. There is no police here, no, there is no courts, there is no jobs. What kind of state, you know? The life of the people is damaged, you know. Like an example, Abu Dhabi, you know, now they are separating this part and joined to Jerusalem. The east part of Abu Dhabi, also they confiscated all the land and building settlements. Yeah, before the war, you know, for the occupation, you know, our lands are extended to Dead Sea, usually. Now, Abu Dhabi is finished at the last house to the east. No, we have no lands, you know, to work in. There's no jobs for the people, you know. And you know, if you have a family and living in a town like Abu Dhabi, you are not working, if your child sick, you can't take him to the hospital because there is no hospital. And also you have no money to take him. How will you think about state, you know, or independence? First, the people think about their food and their children, is it? Then, and politics and. But here, you know, here, everything is mixed. So I'm confused, you know. What will happen to me next month? I can't go to my business, and my business, you know, not give me good income. My wife can't go to her school. Where I stay here, or I escape to Abu Dhabi, you know. Yeah, always we are thinking. We really are confused, and we can't. Sometimes we can't do anything. We stay all the day just sitting, you know. Many people in Abu Dhabi, if you go now, they're sitting and looking at each other, you know. What we can't. There is no job. Even you can't search for a job because the job markets are usually in Jerusalem, not here. So the people really are very confused.
We visit the Jerusalem Music Conservatory, where we meet with Najib, a young man who lives in a small village near Ramallah.
take us 15 minutes to get to Ramallah, but since the checkpoints and the roadblocks and everything, it takes us around 2 hours to get there. So it's easier actually to come to Jerusalem, which is much farther away, and it takes around 45 minutes to get here. Just once they finish the wall, I've seen the map of it, and they're going to be making the villages, and I live in a village, a suburb of Ramallah. They're going to be making them into cantons. They're going to put in 3 villages in the thing, and they're going to have a fence around them. So what happened is, like, if I want to get to Ramallah, I'll have to pass 5 or 6 cantons to get there. Because even now, I could go to a straight road to Ramallah, but even if I want to get to Ramallah, I have to go all the way around the villages, to the village roads. So even if I want to have to get to a village where my friends live 5 minutes away, it'd take me 45 minutes because I'd have to go on a wholly different road.
We visit the Burj al-Laklak Center within the Old City of Jerusalem to meet with Diala Husseini, the school's director.
Many people, because of the wall, who live outside in the surrounding area of Jerusalem, suburbs of Jerusalem, are cut off from Jerusalem and from their families. Sometimes parents from their children, children cannot go to schools in Jerusalem, living in the suburbs. So they had to come and actually live with their relatives who have already crowded homes in order to avoid the subject of the wall. Now there are, in one room sometimes you find, in one room there are 10 people living. Oh, sorry, we have to do this. Okay. You see, these are children who live in the neighborhood. And one of these actually, just the first girl who kissed me, they had to come and live with their family inside Jerusalem in order to avoid crossing the wall. And their family now, there are about 3-4 families, brothers, sisters, who are married and who have, each one of them has like 5 children, living in 4 or 5 rooms. Very, very crowded conditions, very poor conditions. Mm-hmm. And this is all because of this wall that we all of a sudden saw right in front of us.
We travel north to Jayus, a farming village in the Kalkilia district, to meet Sharif Omar, also known as Abu Azam.
هذا اليوم أن مستوطني مستوطنة كبيرة.
We're meeting Abu Azam right now with his tractor in Jayuz. Goodbye to the taxi. Okay.
I have 194 dunums, all what I have. 175 dunums of those are behind the wall. 100 of them is irrigated lands, and they are the best income. You know, I have here 19 dunums, but as income they are nothing because we haven't water to drink. So how can we irrigate the land? It's impossible for us because all our underground water was on the other side of the wall, and this is a problem for us. You know, this was the soil you wanted. I think that the Israelis, when they fix the fence so close to Jews' houses,
Yeah.
you know, the distance between the gate and the green line is 6 kilometers. The distance between the south gate of Jews and the green line is 6 kilometers and a half. But in the south side of Jews, it's only 28 meters far from the houses. This means one thing: they left nothing of lands in that side for Jews. This means that all Jewish farmers will lose their sources. And when a farmer loses his sources, he can't go on the life without any income as well. So they must get out of the villages to find new sources, to feed their sons, their children, and to have the ability to go on in this life. This is what the Israelis wanted. And I think it is the main target of the war. It's not only to steal the land and the water. It's to deport Palestinians outside Palestine. You know, one of their strategy colleges survey, they said 2020, the Palestinians will be 60% in historic Palestine, and the Jews will be 40. The right wing, who is in the authority now in Israel, refused this. And they said that 800,000 and 65,000 of Palestinians must get out of West Bank so as to reback the balance, to let the Jewish more than the Palestinians. This is one of their targets also. And of course, when they divide Palestine into 5 prisons, according to the maps of the world, West Bank will be 5 large prisons. This means they will get rid of their promise, or the world promise, to make Palestinian an independent state. It will be cancelled. Here you see, what is the gate? You see where's the jeep? That is the gate which we will pass now. Then you see how it climbed the mountain, ascend this mountain, come down, then climb the other mountain, and go to the east. You see how it is snaking? And Sharon said it is only for security. And you see how the reality said. The reality said it's to isolate as much as they can of lands. This is. أهلا وسهلا. Again. Usually they open the gate 3 days daily. It is supposed that they will open it at 6:30 morning, at 12:30 midday, 4:30 afternoon. But they will never respect their timetable. Sometimes they open it at 8:30 morning, sometimes 9 morning, sometimes 7, and sometimes, of course, they open it at 6:30 really. And in such a case, suppose that those farmers who are here will succeed to go after 10 minutes, so they will close it at 6:40. In such a case, if one of the farmers is coming and they see him, but after they close the gate, they will never open it for him again. He is to wait until 12 o'clock midday. This is how to punish. You know, before the gate, we have 168 greenhouses in JUs. 168 greenhouses in JUs. Now, we have 82 greenhouses in JUs. Most of them, they are moved them out, or they sold them, or they neglected them. They left them there without planting. In cases, they haven't permits. Other cases, they haven't workers to work in the houses. Others, they don't want to face the soldiers daily, morning and evening. They don't want that. So they bought a lot of sheep, goats, cow, anything to have their income from it, and they don't want to see the soldiers.
Well, we just had a scene at the gate with these soldiers, and Emily's friend Andrew became a water agronomist to get us through that damn gate. Look at that olive tree, Emily. So we're on the other side with the guys here.
You see, all our underground water wells is in this side of the wall. In the side, we haven't water to drink. Now, we do our best, cooperating with the Red Cross and with many Europeans and Americans committees to help us to have the water from this reservoir to Jayus reservoir for the people to drink, because we don't want to suffer, because we used in summer to come here with water tanks to fill them with water from our wells and pour this water in our cisterns in our houses. This year, water tanks are not allowed to pass through the gate. And Bush qualifies Israel the state of democracy. Yes, state of democracy. And he said about Sharon, the peace man. Here is the paradise. In the paradise, you have all kinds of fruits. Yes?
Yes.
Figs, olives, apricot, peaches, American walnut, pecan, citrus, pears, mango, avocado, grapes. Look what he needs more. Pomegranate. I have everything. Only let the occupation end it. Let Israelians get out and it is the paradise. We will satisfy with it.
Well, the men have been picking some macadamia. Yeah.
From the first month, from the first week, we began to demonstrate against the wall. A lot of internationals began to arrive JUs to support our resistance against Israelis. They asked us one thing: we don't want violence. And we agreed for that. Because also we don't want violence, because we know well that as much as we practice violence, we will give more justifications for the Israelis to kill more Palestinians. And in the same time, we don't want to cause pain for the Israelis, because as long as we cause this pain for them, as long as the long-wanted peace will be so far from us. And for us, it's enough. We need the peace. This shows the world that the problem here is not between Palestinians and the Jewish. It's between Palestinians and the occupation.
Yes.
And Bush must understand this. Bush must understand that the problem is with the occupation, not with the Jewish religion. So what is our choice? It's only to stay in the land, to stay in Palestine, to try to have something to deport the occupation, to end the occupation. It's our right. And we hope that the international community will support us.
North of Jerusalem, in Beit Hanina, we visit the headquarters of the Stop the Wall campaign to meet with Jamal Juma.
You know, the wall, they are going to put the wall here in the middle of the street. This is the main street that leads from Jerusalem to Ramallah.
Yeah.
In fact, it's the historical street, the same as Jericho-Jerusalem road that you saw. It's totally disclosed. Right. Now, on the middle of the street here, from the checkpoint of Al-Dahiya until the checkpoint of Qalandia, it's going to be in the middle of the street, separating this part from the other part. On the other part, it will be like a ghetto. 65,000 people is living in, totally isolated from Jerusalem. And it's like you see, it's like you can't imagine that they are going to separate the people here from each other. That's the big question, as the same that you saw in Abu Dis, about what security behind this. Where is the security argument? It's separating home from home.
Of course.
Palestinians from Palestinians, destroying their life. So this is part of the huge project that Israel is doing around Jerusalem. It's this whole destruction for the Jerusalem, particularly socially, economically, and of course politically. They want to get out as much as they can from the Palestinians from inside the city, to make the Arab Palestinians there is a minority. It's just small communities separated between the settlements, and that's it. It's a full control over Jerusalem. And the minute they make full control over Jerusalem with its metropolitan, it means that from Jerusalem up to Jericho, This is the narrowest area in the West Bank, so they will totally cut off West Bank into two pieces, not separated to each other. So it means that it will never ever being able the Palestinians to have their state. And that's, you can imagine what's after that. Yeah, it's like complicating the conflict, became so bad, the situation deteriorated. It's like putting an end for any solution.
It was never ever these people have anything separated them from each other. This wall have been put in between the houses, in the middle of the historical streets. Like Jericho, Jerusalem Road, 6,000 years old, it was never ever closed. 23 civilizations came to this area. None of them have been closed this street. It's the street of the Jesus when he went to Jericho, from Jerusalem to Jericho, his journey there. I have been by chance there with some of the artists. So I was talking about the street, so then one of them is immediately said, it means Jesus, if he want to come back again to do the same trip, he need a miracle to do that. He need to use one of his miracles to jump over the wall. Totally not acceptable. The same as this street that leads from Jerusalem to the northern areas. It's totally cut off. What they were doing in Jerusalem is totally inhuman, totally crimes. They are destroying the whole social structure and economical structure of East Jerusalem. Destroying the neighborhoods from each other. All the opened area, the empty area, they are putting and declaring settlements on them. People is not going to be silenced while they are saying their property and their history have been destroyed, their culture have been destroyed, everything. This is the land here for the Palestinians. Doesn't it not mean just a land for getting food from it? This is a historical relationship between them and the land. This people is created in this land. The ties with this land is like culturally, historically, their ancestors' footprints. You find trees here 1,000 years ago. This means a lot for the people. He see in this tree that the tree of his family, the tree of his roots here. So destroying the land of the people, destroying their life, destroying their culture, destroying everything for them. Go to the literature, to the poems that the people have. It's all about the land, it's all about the seasons, it's all about their culture, their heritage, their history. So by confiscating their land, by destroying their trees, by destroying you are destroying everything for them. It means that their existence became threatened. You can't come and build a wall in the edge of the village, isolate all their land, all their source of income, all their history with it. So we were working intensively with the Palestinian communities, organizing these communities in order to help them to stay in their lands, not to leave their land. Because major aims behind this wall is like push the people out of their land. Unfortunately, what Israel is doing now, the same thing that they were doing in 48 and 67, but now in a smarter way, the version of the 21st century. Just make the people's life impossible in their land, and they will choose to live by themselves. Look at this house. They destroyed part of it to build the wall. This house, they make it part of the wall. Look at these products, where the house is exactly in front of the house. His brother became on the other side. This is from the roof, you see? So if you want just to go interview them to see what they will say. It became worse than if your brother or your neighbor or were living in other country. Because here you can see him, but you will never be able to shake hands with him or to go to participate any occasion with him. This is the story here in Palestine. They are deciding the borders by themselves, and they are meant to be a border. They put it surrounding the Palestinian populated areas, creating a kind of ghettos in the Palestinian populated area, while it's isolating all the agricultural land and the water resources on the other sides of the wall, taking out more than 52% of the West Bank to 58% of the West Bank to be confiscated and annexed to Israel. It is for the sake of expanding the settlements, making it bigger and bigger, and controlling the Palestinian populated areas by these walls, which is going to prohibit or to forbid any more creating any Palestinian state, any Palestinian identity. I don't think that this is going to bring any solution or any peace to the area. This is just complicating the issue. The Palestinians, after 55 years of struggle and sacrifice, they are not going to shake hands with the Israelis behind bars and walls and say to them, thank you, you are achieving the peace with us. They can't build any peace with this on the account of the Palestinian people, future, rights. These rights have been recognized by the international community. That's what the Palestinian people is asking for. So we are not demanding too much. We are demanding to live like any other people in the world. Give us our rights, give our freedom, give us a hope that we will have, our next generation will live peacefully in their land. They will have their own identity, they have their own state. That's all.
We visit the African quarter of the Old City to meet with Ali Jidda, who conducts alternative tours of Palestine for foreign visitors.
Now let's take the issue of the war. I think people abroad still up now, they can't form a real idea about what's the meaning of the war, what's the impact of the war on the life of Palestinians. And believe me, if people abroad, they had the elementary values of human rights or human beings, and when they understand exactly what's the meaning of the war, I am quite sure they won't stand still like this. They won't keep on silent. Why? Let's analyze the impact of the war on the life of the Palestinians. Sometimes I sit lonely and begin thinking about the war. The war is the most horrible, unhuman measure carried by the Israelis or by the occupation since 1967 up till now. The Israeli government, or let's say Sharon and his gang, they are trying from now to draw the future of the Palestinian people. Well, to draw or to plan the future of the Palestinian people, it means they want such a people, 80% or 90% of the Palestinian people destroyed totally psychologically. I take the wall, the impact of the wall, the psychological side. I know what's the meaning of being closed, to be closed, because I have experienced that 17 years. And to have such a wall, in front of your eyes, by the time you will feel internal psychological distraction. People will begin talking as if they are insane, you see. This is the psychological aspect. The economic aspect, you can't imagine what's the meaning of this war. On the economic level, we are talking about 120,000, 140,000 Palestinians will be totally destroyed, who used to be working in the past, in the Israeli side. Today they are closed, they can't work anymore. Okay, but you will say, well, they are staying in the Palestinian side. The problem that we don't have that infrastructure. The Israelis totally, if we used to have, let's say, a little bit hope that we will have that base, economic base, with this intifada and the measures carried by the Israelis, they totally destroyed this base. Meaning, even in the future, we will have our state. It would take us a long time just to hold ourselves and stand on our feet. This is the economic side. The third impact, which I regard it to be very dangerous, very, very dangerous, is the political side. The Israelis, and I am in the head of Sharon. I know what Sharon is thinking and what is Sharon looking forward. Sharon, he came with his plan, the new plan, meaning withdrawal from one side, from Gaza Strip. Now, concerning the West Bank, he wants to remove 5 settlements. 5 settlements out of 120, 130 settlements. With the wall in the West Bank, it means the cities, for example, in the West Bank, this city is totally isolated from the other city, meaning there can be no continuation of the contact between, for example, Ramallah and Nablus. It will be cut. It will be under the mercy of the Israelis. They can open to you whenever they want, they can close it whenever they want. Meaning now, in the West Bank, we will have islands. Here, Puntistan, Island, Nablus, Jericho, Ramallah, Qalqilia. And what the Israelis are planning, I'm quite sure, Sharon is talking about Palestinian state in Gaza Strip. So I hope the Americans will get the message and try to prove that they are really serious when they talk about democracy and human rights. It's time.
USA word.
Yeah.